Hello, guys. My name is Suvinton, and welcome to the second episode of the Mental Health Project. And this week, we're going to be talking about own our body. And for our guest speakers, we have two faces from our previous episode, which is Stephanie and Kitana. And also, we have some new faces, which is Brittany and Simran. So please introduce yourself, starting with Brittany.
Hello, hi guys. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Brittany. I'm from the Road Track Club of Manipal International University.
Hi guys, my name is Simran and I'm from the Rotaract Club from University of Nottingham.
Yeah, so they're gonna be regular appearances on their podcast, and we would love to have them here. So as I said, today we're gonna be talking about own our body. So basically, what this means is that we're gonna be tackling one of the important topics, which is body shaming. So based on my experience, when it comes to body shaming, right, I had some personal issues that I encountered in the past because of my overweight issue last time. So I can like totally understand people are going through embarrassed about their own bodies and stuff like that. So I would like to start. Anybody who has personal experience when it comes to body shaming?
I can go first if
Yeah, sure.
you guys are okay. So, personal experiences, mine is nowhere near as intense or as how you put it, as detrimental as I've seen, some of the things happen to other people online. But, I've been told this a lot of times in my life that, oh, you're too skinny or you're not eating enough and stuff like that. And then sometimes when they say when they say you're too skinny, you hear it with like a positive note, which for them to them skinny equals good, right? So in that sense, every time I hear it, I can't help but feel somewhat like concerned, because a lot of the times, especially in uni, I tend to not eat due to stress and everything, and then I get significantly skinnier. And I personally am not very happy with that, because I know when I know there's unhealthy and then there is healthy. So when you hear that and people tell you, oh, you're so skinny, great job, but I wasn't really trying to be skinny. As a matter of fact, I was actually trying to gain weight because I was concerned about my personal health. So when you hear things like that, and I'm speaking from a personal point of view, it's always more like you question why being skinny is associated with being healthy, when you know for a fact. I personally, I don't go. I eat like one meal a day. This is, I'm not encouraging anybody to do this, but when I hear that, I'm like, you think I'm skinny and I'm healthy, but in actual fact, I'm not. So that's what in reality, in terms nowadays, I feel like a lot of people associate skinny with healthy, and I don't think that's a correct mindset, and it's a healthy mindset to propagate to the public as well. So anybody has like thoughts on this?
Actually, I totally understand where you're coming from. I had the same issues when I started university. So so being overweight for my entire life, a good chunk of my high school. When I eventually lost, lose some weight and join university, right? I would say during the degree time, stress really got up to me. So like back in high school, people used to like always comment on my body weight, like you're too fat and stuff like that. Then when I eventually lose weight and like stress got up to me, right? And then people like start complaining now. It's like, oh, you're too skinny. It's like, what do you want me to do? So I get too confused by that lah. But you said you're right. Yeah, skinny doesn't always means that you are healthy or associated any type of healthy. So that's why I always like do a regular body mass index checkup. So that is actually a great tool for you to see whether you are in a healthy level of range. Is your weight healthy and stuff like that, or if you're underweight or overweight. So that is one of the tests that I do to myself to see whether if my weight is according to my height. Does my body is getting enough nutrients and stuff like that. So that's my experience lah when it comes to that. So that's how I've been maintaining even though through this pandemic.
I guess I can share. Yeah, I can share my personal experience. I guess being a plus size is not really easy, because like growing up, like I have experienced like body shaming, and I guess it starts from your home. Like especially like how like we. I mean, I don't. I mean, I definitely don't fit in the beauty standards of the society. So it's like a lot of things since young, you know, like I guess like even when I was a teenager, like my parents used to be like, oh, you know, you have to like lose weight, and you know, like you can't be this way, this is very unhealthy, right? And then I actually experienced a lot of like bullying in school as well. And then I realized that, you know, as I was growing, like back then I was thinner than I am now, but like back then I mean, I didn't really own my body as much. I mean, obviously I still have insecurities, but like these days I'm like, you know, like I just realized one thing, like even how much I've like started to like work out and lose weight, right? It's always people always will have something to say. Even if you lose weight, they will still have something to say. Even if you gain weight, like they will always have something to say. So I guess like that is something that I've been struggling. Even though I try to do best, I'm never like enough in maybe in the eyes of my parents or society, and you know, like amongst my past relationships as well. Yeah, so that is something that I go through every day. Yeah, so that's my experience.
I can totally relate to what Simran just said, because like what she said, it starts from home, and my parents aren't the family members who always criticize my weight. It's more so my grandmother and my aunties. There was one experience this year where I went to visit my grandmother, and then because my family hasn't seen me in quite a while, and then when they saw me, they were like, oh my god, you gained weight already, you're so fat already. And then they started pinching my arms, which made me feel very uncomfortable, because weight is something that is very sensitive to me, and I'm very insecure with how my body looks. So the minute I heard them say that, like I just felt really bad about myself. And then it was also during a time where I was actually working out, eating healthy, and trying to lose weight. But to hear them say that just kind of makes me feel that my efforts were very futile, like they weren't working or they weren't enough. And I actually started crying right in front of them after they commented on my weight. And I know like they didn't mean it in a harmful way, because like, you know, Asian families, if they see you fat, they see you plump, they see you like they think like, I don't know whether it's the same for all households, but for my grandmother, it's like, oh, you're eating enough, you know, you have enough food at home to eat and you're healthy. But in my perspective, like I thought they were condemning me. So it was just very hurtful to me. And my mom actually told me to just like, you know, don't think about what they say. If you know that you are putting in the effort to actually, you know, lose weight for your own self and for your health, instead of like fitting into the society standards, then that's enough. So yeah, that's my experience.
I can completely relate to what Stephanie and Simran said. I've been through pretty similar things where it does start from home. Yeah, like my extended family, like aunts and my, you know, grandparents, although they don't mean it, but they kind of just tend to, you know, jokingly say something, or like, and they may be worried about you also, so they think by saying that they're actually helping us, which may not always be true. And sometimes extended families, they can be a bit like, oh, maybe they just want to throw some comments at you for some reason, and just they don't think it's a big deal because they think it's a joke. But that can hurt us, especially when we are younger. And when I was young, I used to be, you know, overweight. And although I lost weight now and I'm in a normal BMI, but I'm still insecure. Although I'm more confident, like much more confident than I used to be, and I can wear clothes that I want to, but there are still some clothes that I can't wear. And I still want to lose more weight, although I don't have to already. So it's always like, I want more. I still don't look perfect. It's never ending.
I can totally relate to that. Yeah, I can relate to some of the points what Kitana said, where you know, when some people when they're body shaming you, but that, you know, that might actually be a good thing. So I had a personal encounter when I was back in Form 3. So you know, during that time, right, I every time after tuition, I always, you know, go to the Ramly burger stalls and get like one, you know, burger like every single night when after I finish my tuition. But that time I didn't really concern about my weight, and I didn't really realize that I was gaining weight until my friend pointed out. One day he was just like randomly came up to me and she said, "You're fat already lah, bro. You gotta do something about it." So that is when I realized and clicked into my head that, oh shit, that I need to, I need to do something about my weight. So that is when I become really concerned about what I eat, and it came to a point where I was eating only one meal a day, and that portion of the meal is small, and also completely remove carbs. So like there's no rice, only like meat, and protein, stuff like that. So it came to a point where I was actually losing 1 kg every single week. So my starting kg was 87 kg. That was the fattest I've been lah. So that is when like actually went to BMI calculator and checked my weight. So I was overweight. So I was like punching in numbers. Oh, what if I drop to this kg? What that my BMI will be? So I found out that the moment I go below 67, that is when I become average weight. So I begin to do that lah. Not to say that I only like skip meals to make to make me lose weight, but I also did swimming and also regularly exercising. So I was doing that, and I came to a point where every week I was losing 1 kg, and by the time I finished high school, I was actually 66 kg. And when I eventually joined university, that came even worse, and I eventually dropped down to 65. So just you see the gap from 87 to 65. Then when okay, over the years when I was studying at university, I disregarded checking my BMI and really bother. And again, my friend is the one who told me that, oh my god, like you look very skinny, very skinny. You look, I can see through your bones, I can see your jawline and stuff like that. So when I eventually checked back my BMI again, I was underweight. So I was like so not scared to realize like, what? I'm underweight? Damn. Then I was like, oh my god, I need to like start back eating again, balancing our meals. So instead of like just one meal, even starting from high school all the way to university, I only had one meal a day. You can like ask my friends, Edison will tell you. So now I had like a balanced meal, breakfast I ate some, lunch and dinner, so on forth like that. And I also when people body shaming you, right, the first experience I ever had was when I was back in primary school. That is when the first time people like told me I'm fat, and that's not indirect. That's not directly, but it's indirectly. So when I was in primary school, right, I used to have a transportation where this auntie will come pick me up in a van and stuff like that. So usually I'm the second person she will pick up, and there'll be a secondary schooler will be sitting next to me. So it was going on for a couple of weeks, and then there was out of sudden she was sitting one seat forward me. Okay, so I got the window seat at the back, way back. And then when her friend came along, right, and then she like and then the friend sat next to her, and then she was like whispering to her, like then the friend asked, "Oh, why are you sitting here? You normally sit at the back, right?" And then she's like, "Oh, this Indian guy at the back, like very fat, like always keep squeezing me. I can't even breathe." I was like, "Oh my god." That's the first attack I got about my body. Then, but at that time I didn't really know how to process that feeling. But I still remember what she said. So that really helped me out And when it comes to this, right, when I was talking about my eating habit, this could be a great segment onto the next topic about how bodies shaming can lead to people having serious issues like eating disorders and stuff like that. So I like to ask the guest speakers, anybody go through that type of experience?
Yes, actually, if you don't mind that I go first.
Yeah,
so this actually happened really recently. It was last year and also this year. Like, when the pandemic hit and we're all stuck at home. So I thought like, why not I try to live a healthier lifestyle? Why not I try to lose some weight? Because I wasn't really happy with how I looked and what my weight was. So how on YouTube you have all those fitness gurus like Chloe Ting with the 2 weeks slimming program and stuff. So I followed those workouts and I started eating healthier. And at first it went alright, it went normal. And then suddenly I just felt like, I need to eat lesser. If I wanted to see faster results, I need to eat lesser. And that was my mentality, which was actually really damaging because I started downloading this app where it can track my calories per day. And every time I ate a meal, I would key in what I ate and then the calorie number would come out. So I googled online like how many calories I supposed to eat per day if I wanted to lose weight, and then instead of following that, I ate lesser than what was suggested so that I can lose weight even faster. And each day I was eating less than 1,200 calories, which at first I didn't see any complications. So I thought like, oh, I'm fine. I still have energy. You know, I should just go on with it. But then slowly, as the months went by, I became like I felt weaker and I felt very fainty at certain times, and then I realized that it was because of my eating habits, but I still didn't want to change because to me at that time, like losing weight was the goal. Losing weight was the most important thing instead of my own health. So it was really, really damaging, and eventually I realized that, you know, this is not the right way for me to lose weight. If I wanted to lose weight, I was supposed to eat properly and eat enough instead of eating lesser and risking my own health. And apart from this eating habit, this might be sensitive for certain people, but I did actually try purging my food out. So like, you know, after I ate, I would go to the toilet and then like try to, you know, get it all out of my system, which isn't something that anyone should do. And I know sometimes people cannot help it, which is, you know, it takes time to slowly realize that there are healthier ways that you should be taking to lose weight and to take care of yourself, because the number one most important thing is your health, and you must prioritize your health because, you know, your body is something very sacred, and then your health is the number one priority in your life. So yeah, that was my experience with I wouldn't want to self-diagnose and call it an eating disorder because, you know, those things it's serious and you need to get an actual diagnosis for it, but it was something that I did struggle with in the pandemic.
When I was in when I was in foundation around 17, 18, I did the exact same thing like Stephanie, but instead of going for a healthier version, I wanted to eat unhealthy things but lesser things so that I can get the results faster. And my roommate was on in it too because she was also a bit chubby. So both of us were like, okay, we are eating 10 nuts in the morning, one Nestum packet which was like 114 calories, and the first thing I would drink in the morning is green tea, which we shouldn't, because we shouldn't drink green tea on an empty stomach, and or anything acidic like oranges on an empty stomach. We shouldn't do that. And what we would do at the end of the week, we would have lost about like almost 1 kg, but not exactly, maybe like 0.75 or something like that, because, you know, we haven't eaten much the entire week. It's probably just water weight. But then we will be like, okay, we lost some weight, let's eat Maggie. And then we would treat ourselves with Maggie, which was so damaging. I got gastric from that, but my friend was lucky enough she didn't get, she wasn't really affected by it. So this is just like some stupid things that we do when we are young. It takes some time to like slowly get into a healthier eating habit and like healthier way of counting calories. I count calories, but I used to count calories very religiously for a few years. Like I can look at something I can say how many calories that contain, because I've been doing it for so long. And I wanted to quit that at some point because I just felt it was very obsessive. So right now I don't feel the need to look at calories anymore, and I can just like eat without, you know, worrying. It takes some time and like a little bit of, you know, wanting to let go to reach that point.
I feel like I could resonate with whatever Kirtana and Stephanie shared, because for the longest time I feel like I've just been obsessed of like losing weight, because I just feel like maybe then I'll be more validated, because like in the past, like you know, like compared to back then when I was a teenager, I mean, as I said, I was thinner, but I think I'm more like I can own my body now better. But I just feel like after losing like 3 years ago I lost like 30 kg, and I realized that people started treating me differently, especially even my family, my friends, and everyone around me. So I guess like I have just been like always fighting for the validation, and sometimes I tell myself that okay, I'm working out every day. Like I would work out every day. I would like try all these teas, like this detox tea and this meal replacement, and really like suffer my body, just to lose weight, so that I will have this validation and people would like stop body shaming me. And I realized that I was actually harming myself, because I was actually like eating I think per day I used to eat like 1,200 calories, which is not good. But you see, like even like people around me, they didn't notice, because like how the society thinks like, okay, you know what, if you eat less is better. If you want to lose weight, they always think that you have to eat less. So it's like, I thought it was okay to do that, but it was actually very damaging, because at the end of the day, you restrict yourself so much and you are not having a balanced diet. And then at the end of the day, you just like end up binge eating, and then that makes you like gain even more weight, in my experience. So like, I guess for the past few years I've been doing that, but since pandemic, like I've gained, like I have kind of gained all the weight that I've lost. But the thing is, I feel like now I'm like, I have come to realize that I don't need to starve, and I don't need like to seek for validation. Like I'm trying to, I mean, it's very easy to say, but I'm still trying to like accept my body the way it is, and like do better for myself and not for people out there. So that I have kind of stopped also like tracking my, I mean, I do track my calories, but not too much where I get very obsessed with it. So I guess I could resonate with Stephanie and Kirtana on this. Yeah.
I'd like to offer like an alternate perspective lah, because I've had seen a few of my friends actually, what all of you guys said, Kirtana, Simran, and Stephanie, all what I've gathered from all three of you is that everybody, when they try to lose weight and be skinny, it's always about immediate results. That's what I've noticed throughout. Like they would say, okay, you know what, I will skip. I will make sure I eat one meal a day, and then in 2 weeks they want to see like that drop instantly. And then like what Kirtana said, it's usually only water weight. When you do this type of treatment and you do this to yourself, you don't lose much, because they do not want to exercise. A lot of people that I've seen, they don't want to put in the hard work and effort to actually go through the natural body processes of exercising. So they choose to starve themselves, and then whatever they lose is water weight. And when they eat something small or they drink like a cup of water, it sort of bounces back the weight. So in that sense, it's always going to be like a never ending loop of, I would say, like self-destruction, because you keep doing this to yourself and you're jeopardizing your own health. One of my close friends, actually, she does this to herself, and it's a bit, personally, I can't say, but looking at it, it's a bit kind of sad, because what they do is they would hold on so well. They would do this religious practice, maybe one meal a day, and then they would last so long. But it just takes like that 1 second, that one temptation, or it's like, oh, a nice snack or something, and the moment they break, it's all gone, because they will eat that one pack and then they'll go on to 4 or 5. It's quite scary from an outsider's point of view, because it's like you've waited so long and you have no self-control. But then once they've eaten everything, they will go back into this cycle of like, why did I do this? Oh no, I worked so hard and then everything is just gone now. And then it's a same loop of destruction. So when I look at it, I feel a bit, again, tying back to my initial point, was that this connotation of skinny is always accompanied by positive notes, and I feel like it's incredibly damaging. On that note, I also have a lot of friends who are naturally stick thin, as in they have very high metabolisms, so they can't gain weight. And when you have a body like that, people are always like, oh my god, you're so skinny, you're so pretty. They like immediately they associate skinny with pretty. But then there is also a very fine line, because if you're too skinny, you kind of look a bit sickly. So then, when you're never always gonna get compliments, right? So when the hateful comments come in, they're like, oh, you look so sick, you're too skinny, or something like that, and that makes them feel insecure, because if you're too skinny, it's not good. If you're too fat, it's not good. So where is that balance point? So my friends who are really skinny, they do all in their power to get fat. and they eat as much as possible, but sometimes they just can't. I've seen a lot of people who are just naturally skinny. It's just how they are, so they just can't. And I feel like, as much as they don't admit it, because apparently being skinny is like, oh, you have the perfect body already, why are you complaining, why are you still stressing over this, because you're already so skinny, you don't have any problems if you're skinny, apparently. But I think the sad truth is that everybody struggles with their own body weight, and ranging from the skinniest people to like the plus size people, it's always going to be a struggle. So I feel like in that sense, the perspective of society kind of has to change, right? That's coming from me in terms of, I think what we should aim for is just healthy, but it's just something to think about as we move along in this podcast. So it's what is healthy and what is good for you, because hearing what Suvin said, hearing what Kirtana, Simran, and Stephanie, all of you guys said, it's always like there's this one person that will tell you, dude, I think you're borderline, you're unhealthy, or you're too fat, or you're too skinny. It's borderline on unhealthy. So we have to be thankful for people like that, but at the same time, what draws the line? I'm just curious to know from you guys, what is the line that's like insulting and then advice, Does anybody want to like
I would
think on
say,
this?
if let's say insulting, they straight up come to your face and say, and okay, I think the most important factor is they start bullying you for your weight, or like they start insulting you or making fun of you in front of everyone. I think that will be the worst case scenario. As for the like advice, right, like they will come up to you like, hey, you gain some weight, is there something wrong? Are you stressed? There some people suffer from stress eating. When they're stressed, they like to eat a lot, consume a lot of food. So it could be that, or could be people too caught up with their life. They couldn't really manage their meal. They eat whatever they can, just to fill up the stomach. So if let's say a person is really concerned about you, and then they start noticing you gaining weight, and then they come to you and ask you privately, like what's going on, you gain some weight. I think that would be the best case scenario. I think that is the fine line between. And some people could, and I would say there's a middle line between where people don't know how to talk to people. If they say they're going through something,
Agreed.
maybe one day we can like talk a different topic about the podcast entirely, but how to properly communicate. Maybe communication could be it when people going through something. So I would say that there's a two line, like best case and the worst case scenario.
I feel that if someone cares, I feel they should. It depends. If someone's eating habit suddenly changed, then they might be going through something. Maybe they are going through stress or depression. So we should try to talk and find out about what they're going through. But if they have always been like that, if they have always been maybe heavier, then maybe I think the way we can show that we care is by inviting them to come and jog with us, or like trying to convince them to go to the gym with us, and showing them that it can be fun. That would be a better way to convince them to come and join us join us to work out and leading a healthier lifestyle, than just going to them and telling them, you should work out, you should go for a walk. And I think if someone is eating lesser than usual, then maybe they should be like, can you come and grab a meal with me? I don't want to eat alone, or something like that, instead of just going to their face and be like, you should eat more, you're getting too skinny. I think people would be less offended if we go and invite them to do something together with us.
Yeah, I guess like what Kirtana says, right? Because it can also be like someone is going through something, to do with their mental health and physical health. Like, because sometimes I guess you just have to like be there for your friend and like talk to them. And I guess like support them, also like kind of hold them accountable, like Kirtana mentioned, like maybe make plans of like going for walks, or even just holding a safe space for your friend, like be there for them. And the thing is like sometimes we don't even know like what is someone going through. Like as for me, right, I have PCOS, right? So and sometimes it does affect your weight, right? And the thing is like sometimes people think that losing weight can solve it, but it's not easy as that. It involves hormones, it involves a lot of different things. So it's not just simple as like all these like myths or something. Like, you know how people always say that oh, okay, you're fat, so basically you are not working out or you're not healthy, right? But you'd never know, because like for me, right, like I know people might not believe it that I'm not, like, because when I used to be on this fitness journey for at least like 3-4 years, except for the pandemic, I kind of stopped due to like mental health. But the thing is, like, I used to work out every other day, and I used to eat well, and yet people would judge me and tell me that you're not healthy, you know, you're fat, and you know, like, such things can really affect you a lot. So I guess it's like you shouldn't assume by someone's body weight, you know. Doesn't mean if someone is thinner than you, or like, you know, like how society thinks that being thin is healthy, but that's not true. Like, you know, like if someone thin can also be eating unhealthy food, you know, like so, you know, that's something that I guess like people should not assume and judge first, because people might be going through a lot mentally and also physically, and we really need to be really sensitive with our words, and you know, just try to like hold safe space for people and talk to them instead of just, you know, like using all these words. Yeah.
I really agree with what Simran said also, because I also have PCOS, and it really it really causes my weight to fluctuate. So that's not something that I can control, and a lot of other people might be going through the same thing as well, whether it's PCOS or something else that they can't control which affects their weight. So I think because us not knowing what these people are going through, we shouldn't assume anything about them. Instead, we should be supportive, and also, like, you know, if it's your close friends, you can offer to talk to them, like, hey, are you okay? Are you feeling good? If you want to talk about it, you know, I'm always here for you. And even if they aren't comfortable with it, at least you are opening up to them and like showing that you are there to support them no matter what. And I also think that the choice of words you use is very important, because for some people certain word choices are triggering to them, and you know, it just might be the simplest of words that you say that suddenly like triggers something in their mind, and then it causes them to fall down into this really like deep pit of insecurity and also feeling bad about themselves. Because personally, that's something that I've been through, and it's really not something nice to go through. So I guess when you're talking to someone who's going through something like this, it's just the word choice is crucial to you just have to be really careful with what you say and how you phrase your sentences, and also don't embarrass them in front of other people. If you want to talk to them, like what you guys mentioned just now, pull them aside and like be nice about it, instead of just like accusing them of like, oh, you're not eating well, oh, it's your fault that you are this weight, that your body is this size. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, and I also think that it's up to them. If they want to be like bigger or skinnier, it's up to them, as long as they are not, you know, purposely being unhealthy. And I also think that I know a lot of people might want to help when they see, because you know, there's this kind of like, oh, I want to be the hero kind of thing. But it's also important to know that we can't do anything unless that person wants to receive help and wants to accept our help. So we should know when we can stop trying to, I mean, of course we have to always look out for them, but we should also know when they are uncomfortable, and you know, we should know our limits.
I agree. I think we need to respect other people's choices as well, because like in if we're talking about the topic itself, own your body, I feel like everybody, especially the elder adults, they always look at slightly chubbier kids, and then they're always like, oh, I think you need to lose weight, but I don't think they've ever, personally ourselves also, we maybe have not considered to take into consideration they are comfortable with how they look, so they like being chubby, or they like having, you know, the extra weight, or like the bigger, like plus size and bigger sizes, they like that. And I feel like sometimes the older generation, they don't think of that, because for them it's always, oh, the skinnier the better, you know. So I think what Kirtana said is important as well, because respecting, yeah.
I would always like, I'm on the chubbier side and my sister is on the much more skinnier side, and we would get opposite remarks. She would be like, can you gain some weight because you look very sick? For me, people would be like, you need to lose weight because you're too chubby, you're too fat. So it was always like, if you're skinny, it's a problem. If you're chubby, it's also a problem, especially the older generation.
Yeah, that's so true. Like even for me, like I mean, I'm plus size, but my sister is thin, right? So like in any family function that I go, people tend to compare us always. Like, oh wait, like why are you not thin? Like like they don't believe that's my sister. I mean, of course, like like they don't show it, but it can be hurtful to you. Like when people compare you, and also like when they compare you with your family or your parents, or like like with your body size. So I guess I could resonate with what Kirtana is going through.
It's true. Speaking of all these points, it kind of reminds me of social media platforms. Okay, like for example, what Brittany said, that people are nowadays, those who want to lose weight, they're looking for instant gratifications, and also the society works in a way that if you're thin, then your body, you're healthy. I guess it started all over the internet, because there were more push towards this agenda, and companies like like make products that may not actually work, to make you buy stuff that you always see the ads for, like, oh, if you consume this product, then the next week you lose like 5 kg, 7 kg. So people looking for that instant gratification, and don't really want to put in work. So I feel like that is a false way to sell to the audience, and also make them think that that without any effort you can actually lose weight. It's actually completely opposite of that. And also I'd like to talk about what Kitana said, that about people commenting, like for example, last time back in my high school, I don't really post any pictures of myself in Instagram, because I scared that people call me fat and stuff like that, and it's really hard to control people's bullying when it comes to social media. And you can't really protect yourself, because when they comment something on your picture, it's already out in the world, and pretty sure all your friends already saw it. So it's pretty scary, and scary place, this one. So I would like to ask, how you guys tackle when it comes to like social media, like how do you guys tackle when it comes to body shaming? Like, do you guys have any personal experiences and stuff like that? Because I do. There was one time, this is the reason why the whole thing started, because I posted a picture of myself and my home is just a selfie of myself on Instagram, and then my friend commented, "Oh, you still fat lah," something like that. And then everybody like sub comment below, like with the laughing emoji. That really took a toll on me, and ever since that, throughout the high school, I never really post any picture of myself until when I joined college. So anybody had like any those type of personal experiences?
I'm so sorry that you went through that, Suin, but for me, like you see, like for me, right, like I have the things, I don't even post much. Like I do have social media, but I do have this thing where if I am like losing weight, like then I would feel confident enough. Like I always have this mindset where if I want to wear a certain thing, or if I want to post something, right, I have to lose weight, or I have to like feel like, I don't know, like fit into the society standards, and because of that, like I don't even post things. Like I do have Instagram, but it's very hard for me to post, because like even posting a picture, like I always feel very anxious, and I would ask myself, oh my god, like do I look pretty, like because we are on social media, and we sometimes tend to compare ourselves with other people out there, like other girls. When I look at them, I'm like, oh, I wish I was like that, so it's like sometimes also like you kind of want to seek the validation, and sometimes you tend to like, maybe sometimes I tend to use like filters and stuff like that, just to like have the courage to post. So sometimes I just don't post anything. To be honest, I don't even post, and I know that's sad. Like I try my best I'm trying to overcome it and like slowly be myself and post, but I don't think I have the courage to post my pictures. Like I would say I would still post my selfies, but I don't have the courage to post like my full body, because of like I just feel really scared that people would judge me, and people will stop talking to me, and like that kind of feeling. So yeah, so that's what I feel, but I don't really know how to overcome it. But I'm slowly learning to like own myself, like love myself the way I am. Yeah.
For me, the thing that I do is I do the same thing as Simran, where I feel like I have to lose weight to take a picture and like wear clothes and post it on Instagram. And sometimes I have these moments where I go to the gym and I work out and I feel more confident. Then I would take pictures at that time and I'd post it on social media. And one day when I feel like a couch potato, I'll look at the pictures and I'm like, that's me. It's okay. You can look like that again. So that's how I like make myself feel more confident.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I could also resonate with that because I realized, right, when I am working out, I feel very confident. That's why I love working out. And that's the only time that I will actually have guts to, like, even wear what I want. Even though I'm plus size, I will wear whatever I want and post whatever I want. But, like, the moment that I gain weight, I just go into this cycle where sometimes I just delete, like, my social media and, like, yeah. So this really affects me a lot, yeah. So...
It's more of me comparing myself to people on social media because okay, so a little bit of context. I used to be a ballet dancer, and one time like I wasn't really insecure about being a bigger size ballet dancer, but then one day someone actually told me like, how can you become a ballet dancer? You're not like skinny. And it didn't affect me then, but it did stick to me. And then as I grew older, I kept thinking about it and I'm like, oh yeah, why am I not skinny like other ballerinas out there? And when I go on social media and I follow all these dancers, I see them posting pictures of themselves. I'm like, why can't I look like that? Why am I short and why are my thighs big and why are my arms not skinny like them? And it just really put me into this very unhealthy mentality and also stereotyping actually that ballerinas, dancers, you have to be skinny to be a good dancer, you have to be skinny to look good when you dance. And that's just like a very big misconception when it comes to dancers, and it really affected me in terms of confidence when I dance, because after listening to what that person said about me and my body size, whenever I watch videos of myself dancing, I will be constantly criticizing my legs, my arms, my like when I wear my ballet leotard, like why is my belly sticking out and then my friend's one is not? So it was a very unhealthy thing to do, and because I really do love dancing, but then with this nagging little voice telling me that, oh, you're never going to look nice enough because you're not skinny like the dancers you see on social media, that just put me into a very insecure spot whenever I was dancing. But fortunately I was able to get out of that mentality, even though it still comes back time to time. But when I see other dancers on social media now, it doesn't affect me that much. So and just like if any dancers or athletes are watching this, if you don't fit the society standards of how you should look like in a certain sport or activity, it's okay, don't care what they say, just do what you love. So yeah, that's my experience.
Sorry, just to add on to what Stephanie said, I have a friend who's a ballet dancer also, and she is also not on the skinnier side. She has bigger thighs and like she doesn't look like the other ballet dancers, just like what you said. And she told me the exact same thing, that she felt insecure about being in ballet class with all the other skinny girls and being the only like chubbier one there, and like the teacher commenting on your moves and like all those kind of things really affected her. But she managed to got out of it as she got older. So you're not the only one too, and I'm sorry that happened to you.
For I think for a lot of people, when they talk about their own bodies, it's very easy to be insecure about yourself. But then there's this one Instagram clip that I also saw. It's like you gotta treat yourself like a best friend. So if your friend screwed up or they made a mistake, you would never go and berate them and be like, oh, why are you so stupid? Why did you do this? You could have done this so much better. You would never say that because then you would have no friends, right? But but to ourselves, when we make a mistake, or for example, if we start comparing ourselves to other people in terms of our body, why are you not skinny enough? You're so stupid. You can't. You're eating so much, and all. We always say these like extremely negative things to ourselves, but we never realize like the major consequences, because if we do this every day, our self-esteem, like, it gradually goes down, and then we would not have confidence to do anything at all. So it'll start with your body, and then it will thoroughly affect your mental state and everything. So in this sense, I feel like it's very important for all of us, as well as the viewers watching this, also to remember that the best thing to do is to be kind to yourself, as well as treat yourself like your own best friend. And to add on, I realized that this entire podcast, this series, is dominated by women, and we only have our host, Suvin here, who is male. But I wanted to point out on one thing, that if we're talking about social media, right? Stephanie mentioned comparing and, looking at other people's workout videos and everything. I feel like there's also a very unrealistic expectations, both on women and men. But for men, to have, like, that ripped body shape and everything. Suvin, as a fellow male species, would you like to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, so when it comes to men, right? Okay, so I can't speak for all women, but based on the conversation I had with my female friends, they always say, like, they always usually compare to their celebrity crush, or the person they look up to, and it's always resolved around celebrity and how beautiful they are, how slim they are, and and when it comes when it comes to yeah, when it comes to men, it's completely opposite. So if you have muscles and six pack, and you go regularly to the gym, that makes you a man. If you have like a skinny body or average looking body, then you are not fit to the society. So it puts a lot of pressure on men to hit the gym and stuff like that. And not everyone has the time to do, and not everyone's schedules allows them to do that. And and also that they always like put pressure on men. It's like, oh, if you don't have a good body, or this certain type of body, a woman don't really like you. They see you as a weak person and stuff like that. So this type of stuff really gets into our mind, and really stirs up this and stuff like that, and it causes us to become stressed and even depressed. So I would say it's like that. And last time I had this type of mentality also, like, oh, I need to go to the gym and stuff like that. Then soon when I realized that as long you have a healthy looking body and you're eating regularly, you have a healthy lifestyle, and it's okay. It is fine if you want to bulk up and stuff like that. There are certain procedures you can do to make that happen. Some people bulk up as a hobby, or some people do that to join a competition, weightlifting competition, or some people want to bulk up because they like how it looks on their body, and some people don't. So it's completely okay. Like, for example, me, I have an average looking body. So from a guy who come from being overweight, and then drop down to average looking body, I'm completely fine with it. And I never met any woman. They don't judge me like, oh, I don't like guys with average looking bodies, stuff like that. There are women out there, they have certain preferences and type like that. I completely understand. But nobody ever really criticized me. Oh, you just look average looking body and stuff like that. People actually complimented me, how I become confident and be comfortable with my own body weight, and how I express. So I got a compliment with the type of body I'm having. So that is the type of experiences that I had to come through. What about you guys? Like, what is the other side of the story? So I want to know.
I guess, like, for me, right, when it comes to for my past relationship, like, I mean, I guess, like, I was always like body shamed because, like, I don't fit, and to some extent, like, my partner was also embarrassed to like go out with me, or like even like so I guess that really affects like me at certain point, because sometimes I feel like I don't know to blame that person, because I feel like it's a society, like they do care about society a lot, and how like, oh, like, if you're a woman you have to be this and that, those kind of things, I guess. And I guess it does also affect your own confidence, because I feel like since I've been through that, like it's really hard for me to like, I'm very very conscious around men, right, because of all of these and how like some men has like, you know, body shame me. And yeah, so it's really hard to just put myself out there, or even like I get really scared like to even go out on dates, because I kind of like tend to push men away because of how I have, you know, been body shamed my entire life. So yeah, so that kind of sucks, but yeah, that's my experience by far.
Speaking of relationships, right? So recently I got into a relationship. Previous that, I was just going on dates, stuff like that. So right now, during this pandemic, right, we just at home, and I shifted to a new house. So gym is not readily accessible in my area. So when you got into a relationship, they have like this name called healthy relationship gains and stuff like that. So when I eventually gained weight, right, I really became conscious, because like, oh, what if my partner thinks that I'm becoming fat, what, they don't like me anymore. But but my partner has been really supportive, like, I know I don't really care what you look like, I love you just just the way as you are. So that really that mentality I had in the past, now it's like slowly going away, and I can being comfortable with my body, because when I was gaining weight, right, okay. So back in high school, when I was trying to lose weight, right, I bought a weight scale for the very first time. So, and I had it in my room, and every morning I wake up and check, because I learned in online that when you wake up, the first thing in the morning you check your weight. That is that is your weight, because you didn't consume fuel, or you don't have any water retention in your body. So when you wake up, right, your body fully consume everything. So that's like your fresh weight. So, but now I don't do that anymore. I think last time I checked my weight also a couple of months ago. So I really way past that, being constantly worried about my weight. And my partner also really like made me being comfortable with who I am. And also I am kind of upset because I can't fit into my pants anymore. So when I from a guy who's overweight, right, and then dropped to average size, and even I went to too skinny. I last time, I think 3 years ago, I used to be obsessed with skinny jeans. That was a trend back then. I don't know about you guys, but for the guys' fashion and men's fashion, that was like the thing back then. So I was like really obsessed with it. So that's how I've been kind of rocking. Now it's like little sad, like I have a lot of skinny fit jeans, and I don't really fit any of them. But other than that, I'm really fine where I am right now, and my partner's been really supportive. So she made me realize that just because you're gaining weight and stuff like that doesn't really affect how to say your own personal comfortableness. I don't know if there is even a word for that. Is it comfortableness is the word? So yeah, so that made me realize that, and I can completely understand where Simran is coming from. So I when I would like do want to go out with date, right, I kind of feel embarrassed, because if I wear shirt now, I can see a bit my tummy, and I was like, oh, people what would think, like I have like like a situation or scenario running in my head, like, oh, why this fat, why is she dating this fat guy and something like that. But she made me realize I don't care about what other people think, and stuff like that. So it made me more confident of myself, going out with my partner in public, even though I gained some weight. So that really made me understand that this type of mentality, like being ashamed of going out because you're fat, is really hurting your self-confidence.
I think with the relationship aspect, I do have an experience, but it's not so much a relationship. It was more like the I like you, you like me, that stage. So there was this guy that I used to like in secondary school, and I found out that he shared the same feelings. But then, like, when we were talking, like one of our first conversations, he suddenly asked me, what is your weight and what is your height? And I was like, why are you asking me that? As if it's like a criteria that I have to be a certain weight and a certain height for you to like me back. Then I didn't tell him about my weight or my height, and he just ignored it. Then a few, I think, months later, I remember him walking in the back of me, and then he was talking about this girl who was like really pretty in our school, and he kept saying like how she was really skinny and really like tall and really pretty. So like I don't know whether you guys have gone like through this, but hearing what you guys talked about for your relationships also, it was very uncomfortable to know that some people, they have a certain, like, you know, you have to be a certain weight or height in order for you to date me, because they themselves, they need to fit societal standards as well. They don't want to ruin like their face or their reputation or anything. But I feel like it's also something that you can't exactly blame them for, because maybe that's their type of people that they like, and it's like a personal preference for them, which, you know, we can't change no matter how much we try. So yeah. And what Suvin mentioned about about him weighing himself every morning, for me it's the total opposite, because when I see a weighing scale, I will run away. I don't like weighing myself and looking at the numbers, because I feel like for me it does a very damaging thing to my mental health, because once I see that number on the scale, then I will start to think like, oh, I need to eat lesser, I need to lose weight, I need to be under this certain number on the scale. And whenever I go to like the doctors, you know how they always take your height and your weight, instead of being scared of what I'm gonna, like, what sickness I'm being diagnosed with, I'm scared of what weight will come out on that scale. So I always fear going to see the doctor, because I don't want them to take my weight. It's just something very, very uncomfortable for me. And also, like what Suvin mentioned about wearing outfits and then feeling good in them, that's something that I've also gone through. Like skinny jeans, I used to love skinny jeans, but but as I grew up, I realized that I tend to stay away from long pants which like covers my legs, because I feel like with someone who doesn't have skinny thighs, it just feels very restricting, and whenever I look into the mirror, I just can see, like, you know, I'm not thin, and I will think like, oh, I don't look good in this outfit, I don't look good in this sort of pants. And every time I go buy something like a new outfit, whenever I go to the fitting room, oh, it looks great, it looks fine. And then when I come home and I try it on, and I'm like, why can't I be skinnier? Why can't I have thinner legs so I can look better in this sort of pants? And a lot of my clothes, I just dump it in my closet and I don't wear it because of how insecure I am whenever I put on these outfits. So yeah.
So anybody else has had this type of experience when it comes to relationship and body shaming?
If relationship means I don't have a story, unfortunately, because I've never been in one. Wipes away tears. But like, I think on my side, I would think to myself that I'm too chubby for that person to like me. If I have a crush, or if I think someone is cute or something, I would automatically think that I am too ugly for them, or I'm too fat for them. I don't even give myself a chance. I think that is, but it's not true. Like, it might not be true, it might be just my own insecurity, but we should get over that lah. We shouldn't like put ourselves down. I think, like what Brittany said just now, we should treat ourselves as a friend, and we should not we should tell ourselves positive things.
Yeah, and I feel like, like when we are talking about relationship, right? Like, I have been with someone for like 9 years, and I guess when I first dated, like, I was okay, like, the person liked me, but then like later I was diagnosed with PCOS, and then I gained a lot of weight, and then it was really hard for my partner to like, my ex-partner to like accept the way I am. And like, I always used to get such comments like, oh my god, why do you have so much of problems, like, like, and my partner was like, my ex-partner was really embarrassed, and it was really hard on me, because it actually led me to feeling insecure and not feeling good enough. Like, I would always wanting to wear like nice outfits, but then I tell to myself, oh no, I can't, because I'm not enough, like, I can't even like be with my partner, or like, I used to feel like embarrassed, like how Suvin felt. And I feel like, to just some extent, that I define my worth based on my I define my worth based on my weight. Like, I always told myself that till I don't lose my weight, I can never like love myself completely or put myself out there, you know, because like for the longest time, like, you know, when you're like, you know, the person that you're with like makes you feel like you're not good enough. It's like it kind of like forms a very like, I don't know, subconsciously like you just feel like you're not enough, you know. And they were like extend to some extent where like my ex-partner even told me that if you lose weight to this weight and like then I would marry you, you know, like such things. So and that led me to like starving myself, where I constantly just stress, like I stress so much, and I used to work out so much when I'm not even like eating properly, you know. And it always made me feel like I'm not good enough no matter what I did. So like I'm so glad that I'm not like in that relationship anymore, but obviously there's so much like for me to heal. And you know, it actually like, because it was for so long, so like it's really hard for you to like get over that insecurity. Yeah.
I'm really sorry you had to go through that, Simran. And but I feel like the thing about relationships, and I know we're talking about you know, owning up to your own bodies. It's relationships are always more of it's a two-person thing, and there's always a need to want to please the other person. So in you know, the way you look, and you know, your own body weight and everything. But like what Simran and you know, Suvin has gone through, if we look into that, if we're basing our expectations on these type of things, these fluctuating things like weight and stuff, and sometimes a lot of these things we can't control, right? Because you don't know what might happen. I feel like it's really damaging. And if you have a partner who understands, they will truly understand. But if you don't, I feel like I mean, obviously people can change. I'm not opposed to that, but it's kind of difficult once you have this mindset of like, oh, I only like skinny people. I only like girls with this amount of weight. I only like boys with this amount of weight. Then when you think on that, it's always it's harder to change your perspective. So like Simran said, right? In her a 9-year relationship, you know, it was going great at first, and then moment something major happens, it's like a whole change of behavior. And I think this is not it's not sort of new. It's quite apparent in a lot of the stories I hear, because people always think that they can take things, you know, they're strong, and if anything happens, you know, to their relationship, they can take it. But when it actually happens, then they turn a complete 180, and they freak out. And then they do things like shame you, or they do things to ridicule you and say, oh, you're so embarrassing and stuff like that. But in reality, it's just a personal opinion. I feel like it's just how they were taught. You know, we always tell people that, oh no, you know, being fat is not bad. We always say this, and you know how teachers and lecturers, they always try to tell you like, it's okay if you're plus size and stuff like that, and it's okay and everything. But when it actually happens, you see a change in their behavior. So it's just words coming out, but their mentality is still the same. So I feel like this type of mentality, if it's coming from people like lecturers, teachers, it's passed on to the younger generation, and the same thing goes on and on. So I feel like in that sense, I am not blaming any specific one person, but I feel like the whole structure of how we view this sort of has to change. And you know, when I say this, I kind of feel like it's very ambitious to change people's mindsets throughout, but I'm hoping we are doing it here in this podcast when we talk about this, and hopefully people watch this and they sort of understand, you know, the struggles that everybody's going through. So yeah. Anybody else wants to add on? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
I have an experience in primary school when I was 8 years old, where we were having this fashion show for some, like, I think Merdeka event or like Hari Kana Kana or something like that. And I wore like a skirt and a blouse that my grandfather bought for me that time. And we walked on stage. It was kind of like for them to choose who's gonna walk on the actual day. And the teacher there asked me to suck my tummy in. Like, I was 8 years old, and he was he had a big belly and he like sucked it in, indicating me to suck my tummy in. And another experience was when I was around 8. Yeah, I was 8 or so. Everyone was standing on the weighing scale, weighing themselves, like the teacher was weighing all the kids. So everyone else weighed around 20 something, I think, if not mistaken, and I was the only one that weighed 30 something. And the kid beside me was like, "Oh, cikgu, kenapa dia berat dia tinggi? Like, why is her weight higher?" And the teacher was like, tengoklah badan dia, patutlah like that, you know. And then, which means like, oh, look at her body, of course lah, like that. And I was 8, so I just feel like, ever since that, I just felt like even teachers are not aware of all these kind of things, especially the most crucial teachers who are primary school teachers.
I agree. People are not sorry, yeah. Can I just say something? Yeah. People are not aware of the things that they say. It's like, see, for you, Kirtana, you were 8 years old, and this has stuck with you so many years until now. It's like the things people say, sometimes they're like, oh, I was just joking, or like, oh, passing, like, passing comments. They don't see that. They're like, oh, I'm just joking, and she's a kid, she's not gonna remember. And then 8 years old you remember it until now. So it's like wow, yeah, Stephanie, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar to what you just said. Like, at 8 years old, we might not realize that this thing affects us, but then over the years, as more people comment about our body sizes or anything related to us actually, then this just kind of builds up as you grow up. And then when you're finally old enough to realize like, hey, this isn't right. And also, when you're old enough to actually understand what body shaming is, then it might just suddenly like explode. Like, you just explode and say like, you know what, they're right. Why am I this size? Why am I this weight? Or you could take the other path and be like, oh, they're wrong, and I'm perfectly fine the way I am. So I feel like a lot of people, a lot of adults, they do have to be careful with what they say to kids as well. Like, yeah, maybe at 8 years old they might not be aware that this thing will affect them, but it does affect them in the long run. And then when they're older, it just affects them so much that they do so many damaging things to their health, and they are insecure about themselves. And yeah, that's why all these eating disorders and body dysmorphia comes in.
Yeah, it's what Brittany said lah. Hopefully this podcast will eventually change the future generation's mindset, to stop thinking this type of negative way. And they say that you can't really change your environment, but you can change how you react to it. So I think that would be a good message lah. And definitely a word for the day is what Brittany said, like you should treat you like your own best friend. So I never heard that quote before, but it made me realize, I should start treating myself as an old best friend, because I've been, hard on myself for as long as I can remember. So I hope everyone take the quote and start treating everyone, themselves as a best friend. So, and as for the relationship, I would like to give a shout out to my partner, to make me be comfortable and love myself. And I guess that's been a good episode today, and I hope the audience could gain a lot of insights on our personal stories, and able to feel good about themselves. And if you feel like this podcast has been really useful for you, I please do send this podcast to those who needs, maybe by watching this podcast they can really start loving themselves, start appreciating their own body and stuff like that. So thank you guys been watching, and those who are still watching, thank you so much, and do come back for next week's episode, so we have more interesting topics to talk about. So bye guys.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Bye. Take care.